When I say Colombia, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably this guy, Pablo Escobar. Or this version of Pablo, because you watch Narcos. Hell, maybe you think of Vinny Chase in a fat suit. You think of the violence that ravaged this nation in the 80s and 90s. And most likely, you think of cocaine. But what about the crystal clear Caribbean beaches of the Rosario Islands? The majestic colors behind the historic walls of Cartagena? The rich history of Medellín? The lush jungle straight out of Jurassic Park? The coffee. There's so much more to Colombia than its misunderstood reputation, and this journey starts in Cartagena. I love this country. Strolling the bustling, narrow streets of Cartagena, you can't help but be in awe of the colors and the architecture. While the neighborhood of Boca Grande is nearly identical to Miami's South Beach, the early Spanish influence remains intact within the walled city. Cartagena was founded in 1533 by Spanish conquistador Pedro de Heredia. Before formally declaring its independence from Spain in 1812, Cartagena experienced numerous attempts by pirates to capture the city, including one by Sir Francis Drake in 1568. Oddly enough, despite a lengthy early history of pirate attacks, Cartagena remained relatively safe and peaceful during Colombia's violence-ridden 80s and 90s. The Rosario Islands boast perhaps the most beautiful beaches on Colombia's Caribbean coast. Just a 45-minute boat ride from Cartagena, Isla Grande is the perfect mix of relaxation and adventure. Get bored easily sitting on the beach? Go snorkeling, ride a bike through the villages on the island, kayak through the mangroves, go paddleboarding, fishing. You need some R&R? Grab a beer and hop in one of the many hammocks on the island. If you're feeling real adventurous, charter a boat to take you out to Pablo Escobar's plane at the bottom of the sea. When the government was closing in on Pablo, he dumped his plane in front of his vacation home here on the island. The abandoned 300-plus room mansion now serves as a fueling station for local boaters. After a beautiful 4 days on the Caribbean coast, it was time to experience all that Colombia's coffee region had to offer.
Yo me acuerdo de cuando estábamos pequeños. Yo era una niñita sola que pintó todo su mundo en un cuaderno. Y las veces que peleamos ya no importan. Cuando yo te regañé y te caía gorda. Si mamá te prefería, me mirabas y reías con tu carita de ángel que jamás envejecía.
Simply put, the Cocora Valley is a dream world. Hailed as one of the premier birdwatching destinations in South America, Colombia is the second most biodiverse country in the world, and its coffee region exports more than 12 million bags of coffee per year. The coffee region should be a must on every Colombian travel itinerary. Visit a family-run coffee farm. stand at the base of a 250-foot tall wax palm, the national tree of Colombia. Ride into town on the back bumper of an overcrowded Jeep Willy.
Sin ti la casa es una pared sin techo, sin ti la cena me sabía a remedio, sin ti mis pesares no tendrían consuelo, sin ti. Eli, Eli, Eli.
My keys to enjoying another country are keeping an open mind to trying new things and always doing as the locals do. When we go to bars in the US, we play pool, maybe shuffleboard, some beer pong. In the mountain regions of Colombia, they play tejo. Think cornhole, but instead of throwing beanbags into a hole, you're throwing a heavy metal puck at a paper football-like packet of gunpowder wedged in the clay. The game is much harder than it looks, which makes the thrill of a direct hit that much more exciting, even if you are choking on gunpowder teeming through the air.
In Washington today, the Colombian Justice Minister rejected the idea of negotiating with the drug cartels.
It is the certain knowledge that no one is really safe in Colombia from drug cartel assassins.
Good evening. It's become a typical day in Colombia. 3 more judges have quit their jobs after being threatened.
We will cooperate with Colombia to the best of our ability.
The government has imposed a curfew in 9 cities in the heart of cocaine country, including the cartel's capital, Medellín.
Today in Medellín, military police were patrolling the streets looking for bombers. The drug money brought wealth to some here in Medellín and added to its growing skyline. But now that this city is terrorized by violence, its people are divided about how to restore peace.
My curiosity about Medellín grew greater and greater with each day spent in Colombia. Would the people of Medellín be as friendly as their fellow countrymen? Would I feel comfortable walking around the streets with my camera in my hand? Everything I'd been conditioned to think about Medellín was terrifying, but everything I'd heard about the city's transformation was hopeful. We stayed in El Poblado, a tourist hotspot that's considered one of Medellín's most prosperous neighborhoods. It felt less like the formerly most dangerous city in the world and more like Honolulu or San Diego. Laid back, great food, lively bars, and vibrant Christmas light displays everywhere you looked. To make the most of our time in the city of eternal spring, we hired a private tour guide and saw it all. Parks, shopping centers, Medellín's famous cable cars, the works of Botero and more, before heading to Comuna 13. When Colombia was the deadliest country in the world, with a homicide rate of more than 21,000 per year, Comuna 13 was considered by many to be the most dangerous neighborhood in Medellín. Today, Comuna 13 is known for its Instagram-famous graffiti, hip-hop culture, and escalators, which are a sign of Medellín's economic resurgence. Before these escalators were installed in 2011, some residents were forced to hike the equivalent of 30 flights of stairs just to go about their daily life. It's hard to believe these streets filled with children dancing and playing soccer, vibrant street art, and camera-toting tourists were once the most deadly in the world. Just how far has the neighborhood come? Even Slick Willie himself paid a visit here in 2017. The spirit of Colombia sticks with you. The people. The breathtaking landscapes. Colombia, a South American paradise.
Fue una lágrima, la que yo vi te dejé partir. Tú sonreías sin mirar, pero una lágrima vi. Yo no sabía si llorar o consolarte a ti. Tal vez fue una lágrima de temor, tal vez fue una lágrima de amor, tal vez fue una lágrima de dolor. No sé por qué. Vi una lágrima en tu sonrisa, vi una lágrima en tu sonrisa, una lágrima, ja, 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 una lágrima, ja, 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 de amor. Fue una lástima, ja, ja, verte sufrir así. Solo un amigo y nada más quise encontrar en ti. Ya que te alejas sin hablar, quiero que seas feliz. Mas si regresas otra vez, me encontrarás aquí. Tal vez fue una lágrima de temor, tal vez fue una lágrima de amor, tal vez fue una lágrima de dolor. No sé por qué. Vi una lágrima en tu sonrisa, vi una lágrima en tu sonrisa, una lágrima, ja, 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 una lágrima, ja, 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 de amor. La 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 la